so they didn't have a horse, so they went out and they rented this red Jaguar with a convertible top, and they drove it like all of 10 miles.
Uh-huh.
And because the guy who they had spent like $500 to rent it from said, "You only drove it 10 miles? What's, you know?" And Nicholas goes, "Well, you know, that's what happened, you know."
Is it one of your son's friends?
Yeah. And we knew the kid, so he invited us, you know, like to the party Friday night and then the wedding Saturday night. And it was a nice wedding, but they do, you know, it's so long. I went up to my daughter-in-law and said, "Ruthie, thank you so much for not doing this, you know, not making me do this with your because you know, like we got there at 1:00 on Saturday afternoon, and then like 2:30. Well, then they had the parade. Hey, Pete.
Hey, Pete.
And then we got inside.
Good to see you.
Can you see us?
In a minute. I got something churning here.
Okay, well, so then David at finally at 10:00 at night, the reception part of it was over, and then it was time to eat. Well,
Oh my gosh, are you
Emily
serious?
has acid reflux, so Indian food at 10:00 at night was not going to work. So we just left.
Gosh. Yeah.
Hey, Barry, I thought you'd be working. I thought you'd be out at French
Hey,
Quarter.
Barry.
I'm going down to the court right after this call.
Okay.
Right after this call, I'm going to take a shower, then I'm going down there.
So the French Quarter Festival is the second weekend?
It's this weekend.
I thought it was last weekend.
This weekend. I played at Fritzel's the night before last. I was down there yesterday. Got one right now. I'm getting ready. So it's all good. I'm getting too old for all this, Peter.
Hey, Barry.
Getting too old.
No shit.
So are you playing at Fritzel's or are you playing it somewhere else?
I played at Fritzel's Wednesday night. Did a spot yesterday. I'm doing a private today. So
Look at all that money you got now.
Oh yeah.
Bada boom.
And it must keep you young.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Look how young you look.
Yeah, I'm looking young. Don't I look good?
Yeah, you look great. Purple shirt, you know, nice mustache. You look good. I don't see gray hair on you. Of course, I don't see a hair on you.
I just finished warming up. You know what, Peter? When you're playing at this age, you got to warm up for every gig. I was sitting here warming up. You know.
You want to play us a little something?
Oh, I don't think y'all heard me enough.
Y'all
heard me enough.
So where you gonna park
Yesterday I was at Fritzel's. They had a band before us that was on, a little jazz band from California. You know, all these bands come into town for French Quarter Fest. They had a little band, and Peter, they were playing a song that I hadn't played since we were at the Mustache. And you know what song it was? I'm sitting out there listening to it. I said, "What is that song?" The San Francisco Bay Blues.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Remember that? I got my blues from my baby down by the San Francisco Bay. She went away. Yeah, that one. You know. So the band was playing that. I even told the guy, I said, "Man, you'll play one I hadn't played in years." Yeah. That was the Mike Gentry used to call that before I left my heart in San Francisco, and then he played California, Here I Come. Remember that, Peter?
Oh yeah.
It was a while ago.
Yeah.
So are you playing any more the rest of this weekend?
Just tonight. That's it. Just tonight. And
is it hard? Is it hard to park down there now?
It's real hard, but Dottie and I got lucky yesterday. I got a spot right across the street from Fritzel's. I'm talking about 20 seconds walk from the front door of Fritzel's to my car.
Wow.
And we were worried that we were going to get a ticket. And when we got back to the car, there was no ticket, you know? Because
Well,
those
that's not-
signs are confusing. Says no parking, residential parking only from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. So that means that only residents can park there or everybody can park there for 2 hours. So, yeah, I don't know. Anyway, we parked there and we did all right.
Yeah, I think it means you can park there for 2 hours and then after 7, you can stay.
Yeah, well, maybe so, but we didn't get a ticket. But I'll tell you all what, this COVID thing, by keeping people in the last 2 years, yesterday you couldn't walk into Jackson Square. In Jackson Square, you couldn't walk. It was shoulder to shoulder, like the Bacchus parade
Wow.
in Jackson Square. I'm telling you.
Yeah, people are ready to get out.
They're ready to get out. It was packed. Wednesday night when I played at Fritzl's, you couldn't walk in the place. It was like the old days of Mardi Gras at the Mustache,
Wow.
where you know the doorman would get off the step, take the guy's dollar, you get on the step. That's how it was at Fritzl's. No standing room.
Wow.
Oh,
You took your life in your own hands if you got up to go to the bathroom because you wouldn't get back. You know, the tough part was when the band took a break, navigating back to the courtyard, getting off the bandstand was so packed.
Wow.
that's
Well,
good to hear.
Yeah, it's
So
good to hear
that
at least.
y'all all know about that. The days of the mustache when we were so packed you couldn't stand up. That's how it was.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
I
the
can remember
doorman, you
those.
just stand there refusing people the bathroom. No, you can't use the bathroom.
Yeah.
I think I'll have a cigar while y'all here.
Excuse me.
Let me
I
just
think
stay
I'll
up
have me a
and
cigar.
That sounds good. So Pete, how are you doing?
I'm doing okay. We
Good.
had a wedding for a granddaughter on Saturday, or
How'd that
Sunday.
go?
You had a what?
Fantastic.
A party for
Yeah.
your granddaughter?
A wedding.
Oh,
She's
wedding.
26.
Cool.
I got
That's
3
good.
granddaughters, 26, 24, and 22, and a grandson at 10, I guess.
Mm.
Well, I'm waiting for my oldest granddaughter to get married. I'd like to do that before I die. At least go to one of my grandkids' weddings.
Yeah,
You know, and I have a 21-year-old granddaughter, and she's pretty serious with this guy. So maybe that'll be coming up.
You have a 21-year-old granddaughter?
I do.
Oh my gosh. I would have not guessed that.
Yeah,
I mean,
21.
not by your looks or anything, but just by my recollection.
Yeah, she's
Okay.
21, my granddaughter, my oldest granddaughter. I got 6 of them ranging from 21 to 4.
Okay.
wow.
Yeah, I was thinking about your Sarah. I was thinking she was like one of the old ones.
She's
Yes,
11.
Yeah.
She's one of the middle ones.
And then how's your 9-year-old or 10-year-old that's going to be in the play?
That's Sarah. That's the one we're talking about.
Okay.
Yeah, that's getting close. 2 weeks is opening.
Wow.
And Peter, you'll appreciate this story. So my granddaughters, the middle ones, 11 year, 12, yeah, up in there, they showed a propensity for singing. So I called up an old friend of mine that I used to do community theater with. And she's now the head of musical theater at Loyola University. She's the foremost vocal instructor for musical theater in the
Wow.
South.
Who
I
is
called
that?
her name is Flo Presti.
Huh.
So I called her up. I said, my granddaughters are showing a propensity for singing. What do you think? Give me some advice. I mean, I don't want her to teach her. You know, she's too good for that. You know, she said, I wouldn't give them lessons right now. I said, you wouldn't give them vocal? You wouldn't suggest that I get vocal lessons for them? She said, no. She said, wait for them to have their period. I said, what? I said, what? She said, yeah, the hormones and everything changes, and then you got to change it all back. She said, wait for them to have their period. She said, but what I would suggest you do is have them take piano lessons.
Ah,
Good idea.
So we got them on piano lessons, and and they're part of the theater, the local theater. You know, the 11-year-old's got the leading part now, but the way she got it, she'd been doing chorus and ensemble and stuff like that, and she decided to go out for the lead role for this show. She said, "Papa, will you help me prepare my 2 songs?" I said, "Yeah." Now she'd been taking piano lessons, you know. We sat in the den, and I started, coaching her on her songs. I was amazed that how she was taking those notes and hitting them square on, Peter.
Wow.
Not like a kid.
Yeah.
Kid misses, She's hitting those notes square on, and I'm convinced those piano lessons is what did that.
That's great.
I'm convinced it was the piano lessons that
Uh-huh.
helped her voice, because there was nothing else to help her voice,
Yeah.
When she was singing last year or 2 years ago, she was singing like a kid, missing notes and not singing right on. Now she hits those notes square in the middle. It's like your perfect pitch or your relative pitch, Peter.
Yeah. That's right. That's
Did y'all
great.
know Peter has relative pitch almost perfect?
No, I didn't.
Oh, really? Is that what? I thought it was something about his grandparents had good pitch or something, relative
No.
pitch.
I remember one of the first times I was on a stage with Peter. Not one of the first times. No, I remember it was when Mike Gentry came to lead the band. Like his first night, and Mike Gentry was doing a medley, and he switched keys and went to another song. I turned to Peter, said he's in E flat, and Peter looked at me like I was stupid and said, "I know." Peter, you said, "I know." I didn't know your pitch was like that. Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
Well,
And
now we got
Talk about-
Rogers joining us. Roger has
There we
perfect
go.
pitch.
Hey, Raj.
yeah, he's got
Hi,
good pitch.
guys.
Hey, Roger.
I'm fine. I'm fine. It's pretty windy outside, but I'm fine.
You look like Kilroy.
Roger always sees your eyes.
Cutting you
and
off at the nose.
See your mouth. There's your mouth. A little bit, not much. There you go. He's
Let me
better.
stand up.
You look like Kilroy.
There
There
you
There you go.
There you go.
go. Yeah. Usually I
That's the
have the
way-
cameraman take care of this shit. I don't know
The
what
first,
happened
the first time we had Joel on,
to
he
it.
looked like that, and then he was laying down like this the whole time.
That's probably how he feels. Did you get those pictures I sent, Tom?
I did
What about
Three
the
of-
video?
3 of them, right? Yeah, the
the-
video is on YouTube, so I'm going to try to get it to play.
Yeah, the link to it's right at the top of the first picture I sent.
Yeah, I saw that, and I have the link, and
Okay.
I'm just going to try to. I mean, you want to play it now, or you want to wait for some more people to come?
Oh, no, we'll wait for it because the video is sort of interesting.
Okay. Yeah, the pictures are sort of interesting too. I mean, the one with
I'll
the,
have to explain those.
Excellent. Oh my God.
He is.
David
hey,
was.
there's
so
Billy.
Hey, Bill.
I'm here
Wild Bill.
finally. I was gonna join Emily's meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah, Emily was having the meeting before I had it, and I'm paying for it. She's stealing my Zoom.
Oh, no.
I hope she didn't write it off, man.
Everybody's zooming now. Families across the United States try to get together and Zoom.
Yep.
They're all in different time zones, so sometimes it's complicated. But and
Yeah.
if you miss a Zoom, there must be something wrong with you.
That's one
Roger,
thing
are you-
COVID taught us, how to Zoom.
Okay, well, here's one of Roger's pictures, which I thought was great.
This here is from the Light New Auto Paint Works place. After I bought the fire truck, I took it out to this guy and I said, I want to paint this fire truck red. So he painted it up and then I took it over and Neil Unterseer did all the printing on it by himself. He did exactly just like your father's mustache artist did it out of New York. And he used this picture as an ad for his business.
Oh, really?
That's a great picture of the fire truck. And I see that it brings back a lot of crazy, great memories that we all had riding around on that truck.
Yeah.
I used to drive it back and forth when I lived on Esplanade Avenue. In the back of the house I lived in there. And I'd drive it in town periodically and roam around the French Quarter. I thought it was somebody special.
Was that paint shop on Airline?
No, it wasn't on Airline. It was off of the Airline. I don't remember. I can visualize the shop. I just don't remember how I got there. I just showed up.
Yeah, that was a good looking truck, huh?
Yeah, and that's Ron Manuel at the far end of the truck there.
So what color was it when you brought it to him?
Well, had been setting, well, obviously it's a 1928 American LaFrance chain-driven fire truck. So it was old, and it was all faded out, and it was
Okay.
sitting in, we bought it up in Laplace, Louisiana. I forgot how I found it anyway. And then I went up there and the guy opened up his garage, he had all these old antique cars in there and trucks and just, a collector. The guy was really cool and very nice. You want to know if anyone could drive a truck? I said, yeah, I can drive that thing. But it was chain driven, so it was a lot different than shifting gears as compared to, a regular truck or car. But
Did you have to pedal it?
huh?
Did you have to pedal it?
No, you didn't have to.
You said it
pedal.
was you said it was chain driven. I didn't know you.
Yeah. Well,
I was joking.
automobiles were driven by chains, not like bicycle chains. There's obviously an engine in it. But
So did you ever have to have it worked on? Did you ever have to take it to a mechanic?
not really. No, I never took it to a shop to have it worked on. The guy said it was really in good running condition, so and it really was.
Hey, what happened to it, Roger?
I was just gonna say, yeah, what happened to it?
Well, I think it's buried somewhere. No.
It's in
I-
rehab.
When I left New Orleans and I went to New York and a few the other clubs.
Yeah,
and,
but the last 3 or 4 years in New Orleans, we didn't have it in New Orleans.
yeah, that's what. Well, I forgot what we did with that truck. If we donated it, because that's when I went down to Florida and picked up that antique Model A Ford.
Right.
It actually had a Mustang engine in it,
Yeah.
which was fun to drive around on a freeway, freaking everybody out. You're passing them.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I know it was there in 71, 72 around in there because I remember we had a benefit for cystic fibrosis and the Playboy bunnies were on the truck with us. And
Yeah,
we were we drove it up to Canal Street.
yeah. That truck was in lots of parades and donations, and it was a great symbol. That fit right in with our theme, obviously.
Mhm.
And then you had to be careful driving it. When I first got it, I still had the siren and the bell on it, and I was using it. And the police pulled me over and said, "Sir, I don't know what I was doing with the truck to begin with. Hadn't been painted yet." And I told him, I said, "Okay," so, but you got to take your siren and your bell off. You look like a real fire truck going to a fire or something." I said, "Okay." So I disconnected the siren and took the bell. We hung the bell in the mustache behind the bar.
I remember that bell. Yeah.
Yeah, that's where we got the bell from. When you get the bartender get tips, you ring the bell.
Interesting.
That was a fun thing to have, and a lot of clubs had them. But I think we had the best one. We even had one up in Vancouver, a fire truck. I got a picture of that somewhere, and I can't remember if we had one in England or not. I don't think so. Maybe we did. But,
I heard there was a picture that we posted from the Blackpool Club and they were on the back of a truck of some
Yeah.
sort. I don't know if it was a fire truck or not.
Hmm.
I'd have to go find it, but is that Gim?
Say more.
You're kind of fuzzy.
Happy birthday.
Well,
That's 'cause
so are you.
you're still celebrating.
So are you.
Yeah.
That-
It looks
that's
like your
interesting.
thumb's in front of the camera.
You guys are all fuzzy too. I wonder why.
Did you have a,
There you
there you
go.
are.
There we go.
There you go. There you go.
Okay.
You had a thumbprint up there.
So it's your birthday, huh?
See, yep, another milestone.
I
Very
came
good.
pretty good.
Yeah, everything. Everybody's been very nice, I must say.
none of this you old goat kind of thing. It was really nice. Everybody was kind. Fine.
We could change that.
Hey, you guys owe me a reply to my note. You too, Roger. I need to know when you can make it up here or when you can't make it up here.
Say that again now?
I sent everybody a note. I'm sure I sent it to you as well, asking for prospective dates. We're trying to set a date for the reunion.
Oh, I understand. I think we should do it before it gets cold.
And I need to know from everybody a date they can't make and any date that would be best for them.
Are we looking like in the early fall?
Well, summer or fall. I'm looking at probably
End of the
July,
summer,
August,
yeah.
September, November, maybe October. Tom said he couldn't make it in September, so that's a killer for me.
Yeah,
wouldn't
I'm
do it.
sorry. And I'm not sure about what's going on. One of my kids is having a baby and it's happening then, and I don't know if I have to go or what. So I wouldn't worry about me.
You're going to be
Oh,
a
you-
grandfather?
You want to go, right?
Yeah. In San Francisco, maybe they can do it in Connecticut.
Yeah, just why don't you guys fly to Connecticut and have the baby? That way I can go to my reunion.
Sure, great, no problem.
The band will play during the.
But I've been getting in trouble because, I mean, I want to call a kid Pepe Lobo.
Tim, how are you going to notify other people?
Well, as soon as we come up with a date that's, let's say, the best fit for everybody,
Okay.
then Joel will go hire the joint, and hopefully it's still available. And Marty's going to check it out. So we make, just because Joel likes it doesn't mean it's the right thing. So Marty's going to go check it out, make sure it's suitable for us. And then after we lock it up, we'll just send it out to everybody. Say, hey, we're going to do this, say.
That sounds good. I'd like to, yeah, I'm interested in doing that.
Yeah.
I want to get back.
I'll send you my dates today, Jim.
Yeah, I'd like to wrap this up and get it in the hands of Joel as quickly as possible. But I don't want to proceed without you guys.
Right. Okay.
And I haven't heard from Danny either.
Danny.
The three guys that I need to talk to are Mike Gentry and Barry and Danny Rubio. Neither Mike nor Danny has returned my note, so I'm gonna have to follow up on them.
I remember Barry talked with Danny at our little lunch the other day. I don't know if it sounded like Danny said he wanted to come.
See, he's been telling me he wants to come and he will come, but the other day at lunch, what Billy's referring to, he kind of seemed like he wasn't gonna come.
He
So
didn't
I
want to
don't know.
come. He didn't want to come to New York, is what I remember.
Oh,
You
okay.
asked him if he wanted to come up to New York, like you were going to do the last time, and he said,
I
"No, I
got
don't
it.
want to go to New York." But I
Okay,
think
I
he,
must have misread that. I
I think he was
misread it.
going to the. I think he's ready to go to the reunion.
Hmm.
Well,
Okay.
yeah, but is there any kind of date where he can't make it, or any of you guys can't make it?
I'll find out from him.
Jolly good, would you please? Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. that'd be good.
Yeah.
We haven't seen Mike in quite a while, so I have no idea where he stands. He was all enthusiastic about coming last time, so
Yeah.
I hope he would come.
Hey, Rick.
Oh,
Hey,
Rick,
what's up, guys?
Rick.
the Knights of Columbus are here.
Yeah,
No,
It's been a
Mr.
while. I
Fish
can't remember who
Fry.
y'all are. Please identify yourselves.
Yeah. You need to get your driver's license out, Rick. We don't recognize you anymore.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Get an old one so that we recognize
Yeah,
you.
a real,
Yeah.
yeah, with hair.
Really.
Oh, that's
Uh-oh,
it. That's a
there he
good
is.
one.
That's a good one.
And I swear to God, Tom, I'm not sitting next to Emily on purpose. It just happens that way.
That's
I know,
where she got that's where he got her phone. She got his phone number on that
I
matchbook.
know.
Oh.
What a great.
Rick had a bunch of matchbooks with his phone number pre-printed in them. He
Yeah.
Yeah, Gim and everybody. That's my wife right there.
oh, really?
Right there,
Long-
right.
long
right
time.
in my
Everybody
left
wanted to-
armpit.
All the young girls wanted to be with Rick. Rick was the hot one. when We were.
Is she the one on
Is this
Rick's
guy? Is
right?
this Rex?
that's Rex
Yeah,
Carr.
that's Rick.
Yeah.
Whatever happened to him, I wonder. He was a nice guy.
He became
Yeah.
a king.
Oh.
Tom, where's Emily?
Emily's this
Right,
one
Emily's
here.
right here next to Rick's left arm.
Oh, wow.
She looks
Oh,
so
yeah.
young.
Yeah.
Weren't we
Where's
all?
where's that left hand, Rick?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Emily is smiling.
This is-
Who's that? She's smiling more. No,
Oh, that's funny.
It looks like
oh,
maybe,
years ago. Good Lord.
Rick,
Oh,
do
where
you
was that?
remember when that picture was taken? Was it during the Mardi Gras or what?
I have no idea. It's
Because I
probably,
see the band, and that could be me playing the banjo because I'm looking at the banjo. It's got the mute on it. That could be me, but we were wearing T-shirts.
yeah,
I see that.
that's Maynard. That's Maynard next to you. on the
I would
top
think
right.
that's Maynard, yeah.
Yeah. So we were wearing the T-shirts. That's why I think it might have been a Mardi Gras or something.
Maybe 72, 73, something like that, maybe.
And in fact, it's the T-shirt that I suppose that's me is one of those newer ones that was
Yeah.
opposite. You see the white print. Remember
Oh,
those
yeah.
came out later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
Maybe
The first
74.
T-shirts we had were white with black print, and then we came out with the colored ones. Then we came out with the colored ones with white print on them.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, my last mustache T-shirt gave up the ghost many years ago. I wore them down to the threads though.
Mine too. But they were
Yeah.
good shirt.
Yeah, that's how we could finance the reunion.
Sell new mustache T-shirts.
Yeah. I'd
I
buy some.
remember when I worked for the Red Garter in Wildwood, and all I had for casual clothes was mustache T-shirts.
Whoa.
And in the daytime, I put on the mustache T-shirts, and one day the owner, who was a swell guy, Jimmy Kane, he said, "Listen, I'm gonna buy you I'm gonna give you a whole stack of Red Garter T-shirts." He said, "This ain't working. It's not working."
Yeah.
Here's a picture I found on Gim's page
Oh,
for his
yeah,
birthday.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I saw
Oh, yeah.
that.
That was a great gig, that one.
Yeah. Happy birthday a day late, Jim.
Yeah.
That's Craig Grant on the left. You recognize him. And I guess you wouldn't know the other guys, but
I think that's Gabby Hayes on the tuba.
yeah, that's him.
Yeah. Nellyville.
Greg McCurdy of the Last Chance Saloon fame, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Love to have heard y'all play. Okay.
Oh, yeah. I bet that was nice.
That was a hot band. Yeah, we had a
The
good time.
clarinet. I like the clarinet. I love clarinet.
Now, wasn't Craig? Did you say, Gim, that Craig was like the first trombone player with the mustache?
He was certainly, I think he was first, yeah. Because at the beginning, we didn't have any horns. And then Craig came on. So I think he was actually the first.
Goodness.
You mean it was all banjos at first?
Yep.
Really?
We had a piano on Saturday nights, but that was the only one. After a while, we got Tex Wyndham to play the piano, and he would play the cornet on the last song of a set. Because that's what Jack Chopin did out in San Francisco. They were all banjos as well. At that time, things evolved.
Yeah.
Wes Mix used to play the trumpet or cornet at the
Yeah.
New Orleans Club, some didn't he?
He
Uh-huh.
did. Yeah.
Oh, when Wes played in New York, he played trumpet. You're right.
Yeah.
He
You
didn't play-
know what? Last month, somebody sent me not an email, a Facebook thing or something that Wes died. You heard anything about that?
No.
No, not me.
I read that too.
Yeah.
Right.
Huh.
Huh.
I know he was living down in Florida.
No, he was in
Haven't heard anything.
Denver.
Aurora, Colorado.
He's been in Aurora, Colorado, suburb of Denver for many years. And for the last several years, 3 to 4, maybe 5, he's been in a assisted living facility, memory care thing.
His
Really?
last sighting was at the banjo rally in Punta Gorda the year before me and you, Mike Johnson, went to it.
Yeah, I know, but there's a bass player here in Denver I know that knows him pretty well and has been in touch with him, would go visit him. And I can try to check with Dean and see what Dean, the bass player, and see what happened. Because it wouldn't surprise me if he's passed away, 'cause his health was getting really bad.
Wow, boy.
And
He was
speaking
in
of
he was in
first,
assisted living, huh?
first, Roger won, and I saw the picture. Roger told me that Ronnie Bill was the first banjo player in the New Orleans club, and
Yeah.
Ronnie Bill just died. Did y'all know
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's sad too.
Yeah, it is. Very sad.
Makes me,
I
makes
saw,
me
last
sad when
time
I read these
I
things.
saw him last fall and he looked terrible, so I should have figured it out. It was getting close,
Yeah.
but I didn't.
See, when I saw him at Carnegie, I thought he had aged a whole lot. I hadn't seen him in years, you know, and I thought that he was really aging
Mm.
Well,
more than the rest of us, I should say.
well, he was a few years ahead of us too. Not many, just a few.
Right.
I hate to say it, but you gotta expect that's gonna happen, you know?
It is what it is, isn't it?
Ain't it?
We're all living to die.
Well,
Yeah.
death is a fact of life. It just, we don't have to dwell on it, you know?
No,
Right.
you don't think about it. What the hell?
Yeah, I think that was
That's
from,
a good picture.
Very,
Well,
In New York at our last reunion.
There's
yeah.
some Hall of Famers.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Carnegie.
Yeah.
That was down in the
Yeah.
lot.
It's in that lobby in the hotel there.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Which is where I had the most fun. Just
Yeah,
as an
I enjoyed it.
onlooker, I had the most fun just sitting
Oh,
around there and
sure.
talking and listening.
And it's too bad because that hotel really wasn't set up for what we were doing there.
No,
I don't think, you know, we had to stop playing at a certain time and
Yeah.
all that. Some of these banjo rallies that a bunch of us have gone through, they get hotels that are way more cooperative.
uh-huh.
Yeah. Well, they like it and it actually keeps people around drinking and everything. So
Right.
it's a
Yeah,
good thing to do for them.
free entertainment. It would have cost them
Well-
thousands to have those guys play normally.
Jeez.
It either keeps them around or it drives them out, one or the other.
Pull out for the bagpipe solos will get rid of everybody.
Yeah, you know, bring in the accordions, right, you know.
Yeah. No, that's
Hard
it.
to believe that Carnegie was what, 11 years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Scary, isn't it?
yeah,
Scary.
It's hard to believe.
yeah. These are the two
There you
first
go.
guys.
Carnegie.
Oh,
Yeah, I was up in my room and Tom called me from the bar and says the band's all gathered down here. And I hadn't seen Tom or Kent probably in 20 years before that. We came down, started drinking beer and singing songs we haven't sung. Yeah.
God, you guys have changed since then even, you know? You really have.
We gotten
10
better
years.
looking.
Yeah, sure, more distinguished.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Talk to Kent,
what,
Tom, is he
11
doing okay?
years. Carnegie seems like freaking yesterday. It was 11 years. God.
Yeah, tell me about it, yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Tom, has anybody talked to Kent McBride lately?
Well, I talked to him about 2 months ago, but I'm going to give him a call again. I've been checking on him.
Yeah, I've been gonna call him and just haven't gotten around to it. I'll try to do that soon.
Yeah. He's doing well. You know, his wife has early onset Alzheimer's. So
Yeah, she's been that way for a number of years.
so he
Really?
spends a lot of time with that.
Yeah.
And
Hey,
he had-
Jim,
Yeah.
happy belated birthday. Your birthday is the same as my dad's, but he would have been 114 yesterday. So he's a couple days older than you.
Well, that's it, only a couple.
I talked to Ron Sater's caretaker a couple days ago. And of course, he's not doing very well because he has Alzheimer's and dementia. And he had a fall before that, when he had all that. So he's still staying at home. She's taking care of him full time. It's pretty hard on her, I think. And plus,
Yeah.
she told me that her father is 100 and he's still alive, and her mother's 95. So she's taking care of these people with all these age-old problems, you know. And she's just, it's sad talking to her. I felt sorry for her because her parents' insurance is running out because of their age, I guess, or whatever. And so she's really upset with all that. Yeah, that's the one in New Orleans. Yeah.
There it is. That's the picture. Yeah, Ronnie
I was-
Bill.
I found it, had Ronnie Bill on it and banjo.
And
Neil.
Undershare.
Yep.
Jay Brackett. It's Vince. No, it's not Vince.
J.R. Smith on the
J.R.
picture.
Smith.
Yeah, you are. I remember
And,
JR.
I forgot the guy's name. He was what's his name right up there?
Somebody's playing an upright bass. How about that? You didn't see that too often.
No.
That's JR, yeah.
J.R.
I
Smith.
remember, yeah, I remember.
They have a tuba on it, but he was a tuba player also. But,
Oh, yeah, he was.
yeah, and Jack Stillwell is playing the washboard. He was also the first manager in New Orleans.
Huh.
Joe would open these clubs and send all these people in from the East Coast because there was nothing down there to duplicate what we were supposed to be doing. And waiters down there and band members and everything.
I have a story about Jay Brackett. Neil Lynch, he was staying with Neil Lynch there in the last few years of his life. He would, he drank so much that he would put his booze straight in a peanut butter jar because it had the seal on the lid and he could drink it faster.
You talk about Jay Brackett?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Yeah, he was. It's like he was a hell of a trombone player.
Oh, yeah.
He could make that thing wail. And
Sure did. And that a gravelly voice sounded like Louis Armstrong.
yeah, heavy drinker. You're right.
Gee.
Yeah.
And you know, he was a genius. I was his roommate on the road. And every day when Jeopardy would come on TV, he would get every answer. Every one. Every day. Every day, every answer. He never missed an answer.
Wow.
I believe that. I believe that. He was quite a character, for sure.
Yeah.
Here's one I put up last week, but there wasn't too many people here. Let's see if this is the one. Yeah, with Maury Wills in it.
Maury Wills.
Yeah. And
Yeah. Wow.
yeah, there was only a few of us here last week. Let's say.
1966. Wow,
1966. My goodness.
that's crazy.
I recognize Tara. Who else we got back there?
Henry Newberger on trombone, Steve
Right.
Kagan on tuba, Bob Vanacek on banjo, and Ronnie Beisel.
That's Bob Vanacek on the far right.
Can you believe four of the five guys are dead?
That's Bob on the far right.
Yeah,
Crazy
He was
Henry.
really thin then.
it's not a very good picture of him, but that's him.
No, I didn't recognize because he worked with him when he was working in Denver.
Yeah, well, he made the rounds.
He was an
played-
interesting person also.
Oh,
he-
very.
He had he was married and had a family, but his girlfriend would come to the club all the time and sit and listen to him play. And I asked him, I said, well, what about your wife? Oh, no, she didn't need to come down here. Also, he was a great artist. And his girlfriend was a real good artist. And then she went up to Boston. So I guess he eventually separated from his wife because he went to Boston with her. And they had, I think, an art shop up there also.
When you say girlfriend, are you talking about Gunny or Danny Sullivan? Or was there another one?
I think was her name. That's been
Gundel Sullivan.
it's been a
Gundel.
while. I can't.
Well, when he was around, and I played with him in New York.
Uh-huh.
Danny Sullivan real name was Gundel, and she was called Gunny. But when she left Bob and got married to Jim Sullivan, she became Danny Sullivan. So either name works.
Danny's a sweetheart. She did a lot of washboard
I thought that-
concerts with us around the country, and her
Oh yes,
Jim Sullivan just passed away about 6 or 8 months ago.
Jim is gone. I didn't know that.
Yeah, just about 6 or 8 months ago, something like that. Less than a year.
She
Well,
played.
she's very
Danny
ill as
played
well.
washboard with us when we played at the Suncoast Festival.
Yeah,
She lived there. I mean, the Sullivans lived there.
yeah, and they were very involved in that festival as secretary and treasurer or something for a number of years. And
Well, Danny and Joan Dragon were good friends, and they
Yeah.
kept in touch.
Ah,
We haven't seen Joan on here in a long time.
Yeah. Here's one of Roger's pictures.
oh, let me explain this picture here.
Oh my gosh.
I think somebody's passing you a J is what I think.
No, no, no.
It's the only known picture of Roger in a suit.
Yeah,
That's
The
a
people on
scary
the-
picture.
the people on the right were from a TV station or a radio station, I think a TV station. They wanted to come in and talk to me about doing some promotions and stuff. Now, someone asked me last week, did I meet my wife at your father's mustache? They didn't say wives. So in a way, I told the truth, because the lady next to me was my wife also. I forgot.
Oh, really?
Yeah, her name was Susan. Everyone used to call her Susan Cinnamon. And I met her at your father's mustache. I stood up on the table. I said, you got to get down off the table. So I went over and picked her up, put her down. I said, listen, you like to go dancing? I said, yeah. I said, well, I'll meet you down at Dixie's on Bourbon Street, which is across from where the Red Garter was. There used to be a lot of live dance music. So I met her down there. And then the next thing I know, she was living with me. Then Joel said, you have to go out to Denver. Okay, fine. So he put me out to Denver to get the stuff rolling and everything. And I was out there, then her dad called me because she was only, I guess, 18 or something. I was really young. I was about 22 or something. I don't know. So her dad calls me and says, are you with my daughter? I said, oh, yeah. Well, let me tell you something. In Louisiana, if you want to be with women, you need to marry her and you need to bring her back to Louisiana.
Oh, boy.
He was a good old Southern guy. I think he was really nice, but he was just, it's the way he thought. I said, oh, okay, we'll get there. And when I get ready to do that, Joel calls me, says, you got to come to Chicago now and get the club open. I said, Joe, you just sent me out here to get this club open. Well, you got to come to Chicago because the manager there got sick and he can't do the work. So I got in my little MGB, Susan and I, and we drove to Chicago. And Joe put me up somewhere. Wasn't too fancy of a hotel, that's for sure. But anyway, he put me up, and after being there for 3 or 4 months, the weather changed dramatically. And the wind come blowing off that lake, and it just about froze you. I called Joe, said, Joe, I can't stay here. I got to go back to New Orleans. So he said, okay, let me work on that. So we got, I forgot, I put someone else in charge of being the manager, and I went back down to New Orleans. But and the thing about Susan, she was a sweetheart, and she's an artist, a metal sculpture and everything.
Really?
And she was really good at it, real good. She sold a lot of her stuff, and we agreed that we don't really need to be married. And also, just before we decided to depart, Joel let me go to Blackpool. He said, "Why don't you take your new wife with you?" So I asked her, she said, "I'm not going to Blackpool." I said, "Okay." So I went to Blackpool, come back, we'd sit down and talk. He said, this marriage thing, it's not really for both of us. So we parted very, very nicely. And she went down to Mexico with a friend of mine who was a real good artist. They used to come into Clarity and draw and everything. And then she had a child with that guy. But she passed away about, I don't know, 5 or 6 years ago, maybe. And I went down to New Orleans to see her and her daughter. And it was just, and we went over to visit Gene and Neil Underseer because we were all hung around together when I was at the mustache in New Orleans. And then she was a heavy smoker and working with metal, doing all the sculpture and work all the time with that. And the stuff she used to make her stuff was it got to her and give her cancer. But,
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was, over the years we sort of kept in touch, and she was a sweetheart. And, there was a funny story behind that. When she had her child, her last name was still Kinnaman. So when I met her daughter, she said, "Did you know that I'm a Kinnaman?" I said, No. You're not a Kinnaman. She said, "On my birth certificate, it says that." I said, "Well, how the hell could that be?" Well, she never married the other guy she had the child with, but her last name was still Kinnaman. So when she went to have the baby at the charity hospital, they said, "What's your name?" She said, "Susan Kinnaman." Okay, so they just put Kinnaman.
Well, yeah, Roger, Louisiana has, they call it the Lord Mansfield rule. And if it's a child born of a valid marriage, even if you're not with the person at the time, they put the parents' names on the birth records.
Yeah, so it was, my name was on the birth record. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, okay. I said, it doesn't really make a difference. I said,
Yeah.
it's not like you're gonna sue me for all my money because I don't have any, so. But we had a good time and laughed, and she gave me a piece of her artwork, which is really nice, hanging here at my house. So.
Yeah.
So yeah, I did meet my wife, I guess, in your father's mustache. I just forgot.
Hey, notice on this picture in the last photo, the clientele dress. Everybody's got jackets on and all. How about that?
Yeah.
Was that New York, that club? Was that New Orleans?
What, this club?
Yeah.
That's New Orleans.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Didn't know I was going to get that much of a story out of it.
I'm sorry about that. I got carried away.
No, that's fine.
Interesting history there.
Got lots of stories, all from
Now,
your father's mustache era.
Is this one with that David was in, the drunkard?
David, who is that?
That is me. Yeah, that's me and Alex.
Yeah, so I found that.
Wow.
That
That's
was
his wife. Yeah.
that was an ad in one of the New Orleans magazines, this week or whatever it was called. I was just shining, going through it, looking for old pictures, and they had that ad. I said, look at there. David just sent me an email. Trying to guess who was sending me the email because he didn't sign his name, but he had the 504 in there. So I said, well, it's got to be someone from the New Orleans, and it must be someone from the mustache. He was checking to make sure I didn't get blown away down there.
Wow.
I appreciate that. Yeah, that was
Back in 2002, when I started again at Fritzl's, Alex was the owner of Fritzl's.
yeah, he was.
Oh.
He I heard he had a bad accident crossing the causeway.
Ooh.
I don't think it was the causeway. I think it was out New Orleans East, but it was
It was
one
New
of those type
Orleans.
of accidents that had a lot of questions. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, it didn't seem. I never.
I was working for him at the time, and I played his jazz funeral a whole bit, but nobody had anything to say about how he got killed and the whole bit,
Well, there's a mystery behind that, I think, because I was asking too, and I have a friend, and was a good friend with Fred, that he wanted to talk to me about things. And I said, well, okay, but he didn't want to do it on the phone thing. So when I head back that way, he says, you got to get a hold of me. We got a lot of things to talk about. I said, okay. I think that's one of them.
Well, I was working for Alex over at Fritzl's, and I can tell you that he was hitting it hard. We're drinking and other stuff,
Yeah, well, he was always a big drinker. He worked with Fred and I, well, with me mostly, when I reopened the All Good Restaurant uptown.
Oh, remember? Yeah.
And he wanted to be involved in it somewhat financially. I said, okay. So I just hung around with him a lot. He had that studio where he sold stereo equipment. And they did all those crazy commercials, running into boxes and just funny things. But,
Hey, Ira.
Hey guys,
Hey,
how's
Ira.
everybody?
Ira.
Barry,
Must
you
be 22.
said you've been at Fitzels now 20 years. You were there before that and stopped?
Yeah, I started actually. You know how that story goes? We're standing out there watching the New Orleans mustache burn down. We're standing out on the street watching it burn down. And a guy comes up to me, Dutch, the owner of Fritzl's. I didn't know who he was. He said, so where y'all going to work? I said, shit, I don't know. The place is burning right now as we watch it. He says,
Wow.
You come to my place. It's down the block. He said, when can you all start? I said, tomorrow. He said, good. We started the next night at Fritzl's.
Wow.
But I thought you went up the street to Hooligans.
No, that was a little bit later. The first job was one night after the mustache burned down. We were playing at Fritzl's.
What year was that, Bear?
75, July of 75. It was
75.
a little bit later when Kent got us at Hula Hands. A little bit later. The Fritzl's thing went for about 3 or 4 months. And that's it. It was not the current Fritzels, it was down the block. And it was very small and it just didn't work. I mean, we couldn't work with seating of 40,
Oh,
so it didn't work out. But so then we went to Houlihan's. Kent was the assistant manager of Houlihan's at the time and got us into Houlihan's, and we stayed at Houlihan's for what, 6 years?
I didn't know they had music there.
Yeah, they did. And that was a perfect job because on Friday and Saturday night, they didn't want extra customers. They were packed. Houlihan's was very popular back then.
yeah.
They
That's
didn't
good
want a
place.
band. We played every night except Saturday and Sunday. I mean, Friday and Saturday. So we had weekends off, and the nights we did play, they didn't want us till 10:30 at night. So we started 10:30 to 1:30, 5 nights a week, not the weekend nights. That was perfect.
Yes, that's interesting.
Then you went to Fritzl's after that?
No, Fritzl's was first after the fire.
No, but then you go back to Fritzl's.
Yeah, I went back to Fritzl's a couple times. This time it's been since 2002.
Wow.
Barry, whatever happened to Elliot, the guy that played the fiddle and the banjo?
I ran into him at a banjo rally in Eureka Springs, Arkansas, about 5 years ago. And he seems that he's over the come to Jesus thing. Remember? He was into the born again stuff.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, at Houlihan, we had this banjo player. He was a very good banjo player and a good fiddler. We'd feature him on the fiddle doing, lots of special stuff like that. And the crowd loved him. But on the breaks, he'd go out into the audience and hand out pamphlets about Get Reborn.
Oh, boy.
Stuff like that. I need to say, look,
There you go.
look, that's good, but that's not going to work here,
Yeah.
Barry, Pete, and Franny?
Yep,
Franny.
Franny Smith.
Who?
Franny
Franny Smith.
Smith.
Franny Smith.
What year was that taken?
That was, I would
78.
say,
Well,
I
the
would say
signature on it,
77 or 78.
It says 78 right there.
It's like 78. right there, yeah.
Yes, it's July
July
4th,
4th, 78.
Yeah.
Pretty good with those years, huh? Yeah.
Was that?
Doesn't say 78 on it. I can't
Yeah.
see that.
Yeah, it says
Yeah, it
78.
Does.
Yeah, what club was that?
The Red Garter in Wildwood, New Jersey.
Okay.
And Peter and I are wearing our Red Garter jackets. Those
Yeah.
are bright red jackets.
Huh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
Wow.
Yeah. There was this picture posted last week, and Roger, you weren't here, so nobody could say who all the people were in it. Oops, is that thing showing?
No.
I'm sorry. Let me try it again. Share screen.
Yeah, there's
Oh, that's
Ira.
me on the left.
Yeah.
That's little Ira between Roger and what's his name? Dennis
Dennis
Collins.
Yeah. And then Big Ira.
I don't know who the girl is on the right.
That's Suzanne Lopez.
That is Suzanne. Okay.
Yes, she was my, she wasn't my wife.
Then there's somebody behind who I can't identify that person.
Okay.
She lived with me in New York. She was from California.
Okay.
Roger, didn't you have her with you when we had the reunion in Connecticut?
Yes, that's true.
Yeah, she was there.
Absolutely. I have some pictures of that too. I'll have to find them. Yeah,
Mhm.
she wanted to come to that really bad. And then I said,
Right.
well, let's do it. Yeah, she
Yeah.
was,
No, because I thought that was Big Ira on the left back there, but
That's me. That's little Ira to the
we
right.
didn't have a consensus on that. But I thought
Yeah.
that was,
But yeah, I remember Suzanne from the Connecticut reunion.
yeah, no, she had a good time up there.
Little
Dennis
Ira-
Collins is gone now, isn't he?
Is he?
I think he passed away.
Jesus.
Little Ira
Pretty
Gut Gut.
sure he did.
Isn't that what you used to call him, Gut Gut?
Who? Oh, little Ira?
Yeah, you used to call it Big R. You used to call it Little Ira Gut Gut.
No, I think Joe Terra started that. I'm not sure.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
They call the others the Fay brothers, Hickfay and Oile.
Yeah, right.
Hey, Tom, did that video come through?
Yeah, let me try.
Well,
All right.
Before you, I want to explain what this is.
Yeah, you guys talk for a minute while I find it.
Okay. I'm going to put on a video that I did. When I was in Seattle, I remodeled our house several times. I remodeled our garage in sort of a music room because my youngest son was taking guitar lessons, and I found someone from New Orleans, and he'd come over the house and we'd practice in it. But I fixed it all up, and she rocked it and lowered the ceiling and had all kinds of pictures. Looked like a little club.
You ready?
Is
I
this
remember
it?
this video.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember it.
Hello, y'all, and welcome to the Vinyl Record Show. Mr. Roger Ramjet Kinnaman here, your direct link from the 206 to the 504. That's right. Today we have a special show going on for you at the Vinyl Record Show. We have a special dedication to your father's mustache. For the time of your life is right under your nose, wherever your nose happens to be. That's right. Today we're going to do a special spin on a 16 millimeter film, direct from your father's mustache in the streets of New Orleans. That's right, and you're going to see the famous red fire truck driving around, and also you're going to see banjo players, Heel Undersayer, George Bird, on the trombone, Slide Man, Jimmy Hazlip, and of course on the tuba, Mr. Ben Smith, along with Mr. Roger Ramjet and his crew of mad wild waiters from your father's mustache in New Orleans, 426 Bourbon Street. This film was originally on the midday show in New Orleans a long while back. And in between the band breaks at your father's mustache, we used to watch old time silent movies, you know, the greats, Laurel and Hardy, W.C. Fields, and of course, Mr. Charlie Chaplin himself. Yowza, yowza, yowza. That's right. And you know what we're going to do today? You need to get out your mug, fill it full of beer, get a box of peanuts, throw the shells on the floor when you get through, get your hands clapping and get slap happy today. You understand? I said slap happy. That's right. That's what we're going to do. I'm going to wind you up. You just got to give me a few minutes here to set up the reel-to-reel film, that is. And you can watch your silent movie of your father's mustache on the streets of New Orleans, background music right here by your father's mustache banjo band on the big vinyl we're playing for you. So we're going to move around the studio a little bit here and get it all set up. So hold on and hold tight.
Roger, you missed your calling.
Got to move close to the screen. Here's the chairs. Focus in tight. One more thing we gotta do. Into town, man, my true luck will pick out. That's good as it's gonna get. Here we go.
Remember the fire truck? I drove it. I drove it 7 minutes ago. Roger.
Oh, Robert E. Lee's still there.
It's now Harmony Circle.
In the early to mid 60s.
And
Here
Roger,
you
this,
go, here you go, here you go. This is what it is. That's what we did, your father's mustache. What did we do? We had fun every night. We sang songs, clapped our hands, made people happy and left them happy. What else did we do? We just kept having fun, playing music. What else did we do? We showed you in that silent movie. We chased ladies all over the street, all over the town, all over the city, all over the bars. We didn't care. We were there to have a good time because the time of your life was where? Right under your nose. You got it right here, ladies and gentlemen. The time of your life is right under your nose. Wherever your nose happen to be. So get slap happy, clap your hands, turn up the banjo music and have a good time. Catch you on the flip side, the final record show. Hallelujah.
all right, Roger.
That's great, Roger.
That's good, Roger.
Well done.
Pretty good.
Yay.
That was
Right.
good.
A few,
That's
a few
classic.
memories there.
Yeah.
Who are the actors in that?
You know, I can't remember the waiters' names.
Oh, yeah.
I know, I know them, I can think about them and their personalities and everything. I just can't.
Mhm.
Put my, if I looked at a list of the waiters, and
Oh,
what
yeah.
it would pop
What
up.
year was it?
Huh?
Year? What year? Did you do
That
that?
was probably in the, it was on the midday show and it was during Mardi Gras time. So it was, let's say 75, probably 70, maybe nights, maybe 69.
Okay.
Just before then, maybe.
Uh,
I had the whole film of the whole show. So in the midday show,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
it got destroyed in the fire. And somehow I had just that part, which we, of course, we went around town and developed it. And they the WDSU edited and everything and made it go real fast like an old time movie. And so they gave me that also. But so I kept that, and one day I thought, let me look at this. That's when I did the vinyl. I was doing a vinyl record show for a while, and what I would do, that time I had all the albums that I had the Clarity, and I used to play music there, but I played the whole album. I just wouldn't play a song at a time. That way, in those days, the albums, the way they made, it made sense to listen to the whole album, one side at a time. And people would come and request certain albums. I'd go out and buy it, and they come in, hey, I got that album you like. And so I had all these albums, so I thought I'm gonna do something with it. So I started doing this vinyl record show. And I talk about the music I was playing and who was on the album and stories about the musicians and everything. And then
I'm glad you found that in the drunkard picture too. I've always wanted to see some of that.
That was cute. That was fun, yeah.
I don't know if I looked for some more, I just couldn't find any. I'm surprised I have all these pictures. I don't know how I ended up with from all over the different states and different mustaches. And I don't know.
That guy, Jimmy Hayslip, he was a wonderful trombonist.
Oh, wasn't he good? He could play.
He was wonderful.
He could make that thing talk. He was really, really good.
When he left us, he went with Pete Fountain.
Did he?
And ended his career with Pete Fountain.
Yeah, because I've met him first in St. Louis, and then we were in need of a trombone person. So I told Joe I want to bring Jimmy down here. So
yeah,
There's a bunch.
Really.
Well, that's a motley crew.
Yeah.
Is that from
that's Oklahoma City?
Yeah, that's Oklahoma.
Oklahoma, right? Yeah.
That's when we fronted the Kingston Trio.
That's right. The Kingston Trio. Jesus.
Hey, they put on a good show.
Yeah, that was a fun weekend.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Great weekend.
Good jam sessions.
They had us in the same weekend as their Hall of Fame induction for the Banjo Museum.
Yeah.
Right. So it was a banjo rally and it was a reunion for Your Father's Mustache all together. That was a really neat weekend for those who
That was a lot of fun.
Besides me, I think Mike Johnson was there.
I was there. Barry, that was the weekend they were dedicating the performance room at the Banjo Museum to Your Father's Mustache.
Right.
Yeah.
That was a great weekend, man. Great jam sessions, great friends, a lot of good booze.
Yeah, it was.
Good food. What the hell?
At what Mike's talking about at the Banjo Museum, they have a performance room, and what they did is redecorate it to be a Your Father's Mustache. They painted the walls red, got the old photos and the whole stage. So when we played there, it was like playing a Your Father's Mustache.
Wow.
And it's still like that, by the way. They haven't changed it yet.
Yeah, it is. Shivani had donated all kinds of stuff to them, according to Johnny Bayer.
Really? Show that picture again.
Boxes
Which one?
The one previous.
Before they did that, it was decorated like a
Was the
shake.
poster or the one before that?
One right before that.
Okay, let me get it. Hold on.
You can't really see the room, but they really did a good job of replicating Your Father's Mustache.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see
Oh,
it?
yeah.
Oops, I'm sorry, it's the wrong one.
No, that was it.
Oh, I showed the right one? Okay, I thought I had the wrong one up there. Okay.
Well, different guys, but it's the same room.
Yeah, the first one was all right.
Yeah. So, I see. I had two pictures of it. Yeah.
Look at Joe Petroselli back there.
Yeah,
Yep.
Ted Turner to the left of Joe and Harold Johnson on trombone.
There's
Rubio
Snake.
on tuba.
The state.
Yeah. Yeah. See, Danny on the tuba, he in fact, he called me to come up there. I was in Dallas for a seminar, and it's about another 3 hours to get up to Oklahoma City, but I wasn't able to get up there. So
Yeah, we had a fun weekend that weekend.
It was lovely. It was a good time.
It was.
And when we all got up on the bandstand for the first time, Joel said, at every club I've ever opened, the first song was Somebody Stole My Gal. So 2 C's and an E flat. Here we go.
Oh, yeah.
Wow, that's nice.
Barry, remember the late night jam sessions?
Yeah, that was a lot
Up
of
in
fun.
that room upstairs with about 30 people.
Yeah.
That was great.
All right, I need to go.
What? What?
Okay, Pete.
Take
Yeah,
care.
Barry's cigars burned down, so it must
We
be.
have to run too,
Yeah.
fellas. See y'all again.
Bye-bye.
Okay, good night, Rick.
Take care.
I think this was more the people that were there, huh?
Yeah,
That's the Denver crew.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Everybody from Denver and a picture with Joel.
Oh, nice.
There's Snake.
Right.
Mike Johnson, you're hitting it in the back.
I know. And that's rare that happens because I'm usually bigger than everybody else. But that's Ted Turner's hiding me in front.
Yeah, well, there's somebody else was taking a picture, obviously, and somebody else shot one from the side because everybody's looking kind of.
Yeah, that's Ted Turner.
And Gene LeBeau, Gene Roof with the
Yeah.
hat on.
Yep.
John Mumford on the left and then me and
Yeah,
Dennis
Gene
Conklin.
LeBeau, John was asking if anybody had his email. If anybody
I sent
had
it to him.
Okay, good, thanks.
I've got it if you need it.
And I still keep in touch with Petroselli every once in a while.
Yeah, so do I. I'll be seeing him next week. We're doing a jazz festival in Evergreen, Colorado at the end of the month. Joe and myself and the Denver version of the Mustache Band.
Well, those red and white vests were nice and clean.
Yeah,
It looks out of the ordinary.
Yeah. I was trying to think. I can't remember how.
and some of them fit a lot better than others, don't they?
That Mike Gentry's doesn't button.
I don't think you could button it.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, well, okay. Anyway, so I was just throwing them out there. They were,
That was a good picture. Thank you.
yeah. Yeah. Anyway, but everybody got to remember to give them their dates.
Please.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah.
Dates for what?
When
The
you,
reunion.
When you can
Oh.
come.
if you
Yeah,
can make the reunion summer, is it anytime from summer till October, you said, Kim?
Yeah, probably. I wouldn't want to do it any later than October.
Yeah.
yeah. I won't be able to make it this time around, but whoever makes it, have a great time, man. I'll be there in spirit with you.
Well, you never know. Things might change,
Boy,
Sure.
you got a couple of new lungs you want to give me?
Mm.
And a couple of new knees?
Well, I'm gonna send you my dates, but I can make it anytime, Jim. I think. I mean, that
What?
far out, I don't have anything booked up right now, so.
Bless you, my boy. Bless you.
Not working on a bionic washboard player.
We got little Ira. He's going to come, and Dalton's going to come.
Dr. Diamond, cool.
Dr. Diamond, yeah, he's going to come.
He was in the Carnegie.
One surprise answer I got to the note was from Christine. I think it'd be delightful if she could make it.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
I don't think Christine's going to make it. Is she, Kim?
Well, she said that she was available, and so let's hope she follows through.
Hey, Kim, have you had any contact with Tim Greeley lately?
No.
Last year, I got in touch with him and I sent the information on to you, I think. And he wasn't doing well. He had his daughter-in-law or somebody was a caregiver. And
Right. Yeah.
there was something on Facebook recently, a picture of him and Paul French. So if you wanted to see how Tim's doing, you might
Well,
check with Paul French.
Well, French is going to come. He told me he was free anytime.
And there's Rob Oak or Okie or whatever from Florida who was interested.
Rob Oak said he couldn't come. He was not well.
Okay.
And I tell you what, when Christine came on the Zoom call last year, she looked the same as she did 50 years ago. I
She
couldn't believe
did.
it.
She looked exactly the same.
I couldn't believe it. I
You
said
know,
something
Badu
wrong with my
wasn't that
freaking
far off
computer
either.
here.
Badu looked pretty good too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The-
And I know Banu still plays around town. I see
Yeah,
little
I see her. I see Banu often.
Mhm.
Yeah, she shows up on Facebook a lot.
Yeah, she does.
But she still works around town. And, I mean, she doesn't do the big concerts at her own choice. She does, little jobs like I do,
Mhm.
It's fun. That's more fun.
Yeah, I got
Okay.
one right now. As soon as I get off the call, going to take a shower, and it's an uptown party. It's in
Okay, well-
conjunction with French Quarter Fest, which is going on right now.
That
Yeah.
sounds fun.
So when are you playing at Fritzl's for the French Quarter Fest?
Oh, I did that Wednesday night. This
Oh.
past Wednesday night, we were packed. That's what I was telling y'all earlier. It was like mustache days. You couldn't even get a standing room in the place.
Wow.
Is it like that every Wednesday, Bear?
No, not every, it's crowded every Wednesday, but not like that. It's French Quarter Fest. You know, it's kind of like we used to do at Mardi Gras for the mustache,
Wow.
you know?
Yeah.
I remember
French
one
Quarter-
time at the mustache, the doorman was standing on the step. It was $1 to get in. He says, okay, the next guy, give me your $1. Guy gave him the $1. He got off the step and the guy got on the step. So he was in.
We had that floating door charge during Mardi Gras. You know, we had people wait outside, then we let them go up to the end of the bar and stand. Then
Right.
we take down another rope that could go up to where the waiters bring in their dirty glasses and everything. And each time we'd change the distance to go in, we raised the door charge. So it might start off at $1, and I'd go up and say, okay, we got a crowd outside. Let them go up to the bar. Now we're up to $2. Then we next would be a big rush to get all the way to the end. Sometimes we get up to $5 a person to come in. Let's get in, then we start all over again.
Yeah, it was packed. Well, that's how it was Wednesday night at Fritzl's because of French Quarter Fest. I think because of the COVID the last 2 years, people are dying to get out. I mean,
Yeah.
right now in the French Quarter, it's packed. The Jackson Square right now is shoulder to shoulder.
I've been to a couple of those. I think they're a lot of fun.
Yeah, they're great.
Plus they're fun. You just walk in and have a good time, get some good food and go to beat a beer and roam around, listen to good music.
And,
Hey, Jim.
all the Europeans come into town and they all want to jam, and that's great.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
And one year Joel was down here, so I had him on the bandstand at Fritzl's. That was a lot of fun. In fact, he and Cynthia Sayer were together. They just had, by coincidence, they came in for French Quarter Fest. So it was me, Cynthia Sayer, and Joel. 3 banjos with a jazz band at Fritzl.
That
Yeah,
would have been good.
yeah, it
Hey,
was a lot of
Jim.
fun.
Jim, do the next reunion in New Orleans and I'll figure out a way to get there, even if I have to come by ambulance.
Yeah.
That's the
That's a neat
picture.
picture.
That's the picture, Joel, at French Quarter Fest.
Yeah, that's cool.
Well, I'm pretty good today, huh?
You are,
You
you're going
are
great.
good.
Yeah, no, I had just gone through all the pictures last week and kind of sorted things, so it's easier for me to find things.
Yeah, that's
Oh.
me
Yeah.
and Mike Gentry and Joel right in Jackson Square.
Yeah,
Good picture.
that's cool. Joel's got his beads on.
Yeah, he probably had to show something for that.
Yeah.
Well, I gotta go, guys, so I'll see you next week.
Okay, Ken, nice.
All right,
Yeah,
we'll
me
see
too. It's
y'all.
good to see you all again.
Yeah,
All right,
that's
Barry,
right.
thanks a lot.
So we'll see you next
Tom and
week.
Phil.
Next
All right,
week.
see you next week. Bye, guys.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Tom.
Billy.
Thanks, Bill. Good,
Thanks,
good
Bill.
show, Roger.
All right, thank you.
Bye, Dave. Bye.
Good night,
Bye,
guys.
Roger.
Good night,
Bye,
Tommy.
everybody.
Bye-bye.
Hi, Lucy.